Hello and welcome to Distilling Greatness. This is episode 11, one that I'm going to entitle Bourbon Without Borders. For the first time that I've done this podcast, I'm without my partner in crime, Chris Tatum, who normally does a great job of leading this conversation. So I'm going to do my best not to trip us up, and but also kind of lead us in some conversations that I feel like we've kind of been having off and on for at least a couple of years now. But I thought it'd be interesting just to go ahead and introduce everybody that's going to be on the podcast today. I got the Bourbon Whiskey Thieves representing 3 different states who've come together here in Townsend. So I've got Matt Gore to my left. I guess you're my initial connection to this group of people. And then you introduced me to Anthony through a chat on his birthday that joined in on. And then Logan, who's come in from over in far East Tennessee. But I thought it'd be kind of cool. Yeah, far East Tennessee. I'm in East Tennessee, but you're far East Tennessee. But I thought it'd be nice for us to be able to just kind of talk about how we've met and the friendships that have been formed through a common hobby and passion for bourbon. And but I'll start off with you, Anthony. Tell us about what your day job is and kind of how you got into bourbon.
I love how you're starting with me on this one.
That's great.
Day job, I'm actually retired. So I retired from the oil industry in Los Angeles in 2019. So I was a assistant lab manager for about 14 years in a oil and petrochemical company, and a lot of what I used to do over there, a lot of the testing I used to do over there, definitely has a lot to do with the whiskey testing as well. So same equipment, same type of analysis, just different products.
Yep.
So definitely have a deep appreciation for what you guys do, not just on the distilling side, but definitely on the R&D side and all the analytical side as well.
All right.
So right now I run the Bourbon Whiskey Library, which I host private tastings and cigar pairing. So this is right up my alley right here.
Yeah, so we've got whiskey and cigars on here in your honor because I knew that was something that you were into.
Oh, man, you're too kind.
Yep. But how about you, Matt? Tell us about your day job.
My day job is a little bit of a unique career, but I work at a facility close to like Knoxville, Tennessee, the Oak Ridge plant that you all have. It's a federally ran facility. They used to enrich uranium. And so I'm a chemical operator, so I kind of go through the same process of not really distilling whiskey, but where you have to follow procedures and go step by step. So that's kind of having an appreciation for that and the whiskey. And that's what I do day to day. We are decommissioning now. We are no longer actually enriching uranium, but it's a very interesting job, and I do that Monday through Thursday.
So you're basically saying there's a lot of bureaucracy in the job. We don't know anything about that in distilled spirits. I can assure you that there's not many layers of government oversight involved in our industry at all.
No.
But when did your sort of passion for whiskey begin? Because I know for people who don't know Matt, he's big whiskey. If you are on Instagram. So.
Yes, mine actually started. Of course, like most of us, when you're younger, maybe even not of legal age. But beer was not my forte. Beer was an acquired taste for me, and of the spirits that I did try, or hard liquors, whiskey is one that I gravitated towards. And as we kind of fast forward and we've done our research, or at least I have, it's got its health benefits, and it's just a really good spirit. With that said, too, during COVID, it's kind of how we all met. You take the silver lining with that, and so I've met these great people through the events that happened during COVID because of podcasts and a passion that we all shared with whiskey.
And that's when I met you.
Yes.
Yep.
So that kind of opened the doors for all of us to kind of come together. And that is another close thing that you all's logo or slogan pretty much gather around. So with us just being close friends now, it's an ever, like it just keeps populating. Like we've got such a big group, and it's like every year we get more and more great people in the community, and it's just because of whiskey.
Yeah.
It's just a great spirit.
Absolutely. How about you, Logan? Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, so in day job, I work at a chemical company too here in Northeast Tennessee. Been with them for like 23 years, and it's been interesting. But as far as
is it Tennessee Eastman?
it is, yeah.
My cousin was an intern there back in '85 or '6.
Yeah.
In
That
engineering.
was part of an acquisition of another company. It was St. Louis based called Solutia.
Okay.
And I grew up in Martinsville, Virginia. And so I moved from Martinsville, Virginia to Kingsport, Tennessee to the corporate office. And so I just tell people I moved from one NASCAR city to another. And what really I got into, about like what you were saying, kind of got into this around COVID. When we moved, I was like, oh, I'm moving to Tennessee. I'm going to have to get into Tennessee whiskey. I've got to get into whiskey because I'm going to a place where that it's a known thing with whiskey. So I started venturing, trying different things in whiskey, and really just started to get very passionate about it, like the different notes and the flavors, and met these great people through the community, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yep.
So it's been interesting.
So this group, it's online during COVID, called the Bourbon Whiskey Thieves.
The Bourbon Thieves.
The Bourbon Thieves.
Yep.
Okay, so it formed during COVID?
It formed during COVID. It formed late 2019, early 2020,
Okay.
where nobody can actually go to the bar and hang out and like you guys say, gather around, right? So we gathered around virtually.
Yep.
And that's really where it started. Like-minded folks that all believe in the same passion. We all, we all entertain the same ideas, and we all enjoy the spirit. So this is really what brings us together. And, we have a lot of fun doing it. There's a lot of smiles. There's a lot of laughs. No drama, which is fantastic.
Yes.
And like I said, enjoying the spirit and enjoying each other's camaraderie.
And I know I haven't been on many of y'all's when y'all have connected, like into chat rooms and stuff like that, but I was kind of impressed that y'all had a pretty broad following of people. I think there were people on from Alaska, Michigan, and then, of course, Tennessee, Kentucky, and stuff, the usual suspects, I would call it, of people that are going to be closer to the distilleries. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. It was a very diverse group and lived in a lot of different places. So it's really nice that y'all been able to connect together.
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, we're actually worldwide. So there's other countries. You and I were just talking about it prior to the podcast. Ecuador. There's folks from Colombia, Brazil, Australia.
Lily.
Yes.
Yes.
So
yes.
I mean,
I've met her.
we're all over the place. I mean, the Bourbon Thieves are known.
So have y'all been able, now that COVID is over with, to go beyond just sort of that online realm and to kind of meet up? I mean, obviously you guys are meeting here. There's going to be quite a few thieves in town for this.
There's a lot of thieves in town for this, and some are on their way here. Some are already here, and this is just a great meetup spot. I mean, it's a great kind of rendezvous spot, and we always want to come to Company. We always want to support whatever you guys are doing. We love the people here. We love how passionate you guys are. We love how friendly everybody is here, and it's a great town. I mean,
it is.
Just look
This
around.
was actually the first Thieves event that I came to. I didn't start in 2019 when they started it, but as I started to learn people and network and try to build my network as well from a social aspect, this was the first event. I'm like, hey, this is a great opportunity to meet up with a lot of great people in one place, and that was the main reason I wanted to come to Grains and Grits, and the event has just been spectacular. This is my second year. I know that.
The weather's going to be awesome for us as well, other than the sun kind of beating on us right now.
You're getting all of it,
But of course, I mean, Company's the only one here in Townsend that's physically located here. But this weekend, there'll be a chance to meet probably 24 different distilleries, to meet their distillers. They'll be here to give a face and a voice to what they're doing from Memphis to Bristol. Which is awesome, because I think even though it's grown in size, I mean, I want to say they sell maybe up to 1,000 tickets. That's still not too large where you don't get some FaceTime with people when you come here. And it gives us a chance as distillers to spend some time with one another too, which, for a competitive industry that we work in, we're much more friendly with one another than I think most people would think. We help one another out. We have common issues that we need to work together on. So we know one another pretty well, and we all want to win. I mean, you've all got that, and you're not going to necessarily share recipes or secrets. But at the end of the day, if somebody needs help in the industry is usually your best, first round of defense as far as getting some help from someone that will reach out a hand and say, hey, what's going on? Can we help? Which is awesome. I love that about this industry, probably more than anything.
Definitely found some new distillers here last year when I came that I'd never tried before, that I started really I would go out and find them or ask for them at my local stores.
Yeah, it opens your eyes.
Yeah, it really does.
Absolutely.
Say like, wow, that's really good. I didn't know that was out there. Or it may be one that I've shared that other people in the Thieves like, hey, I've been to that distillery. You should go try their stuff. And then everybody gravitates over there and tries some of the stuff and really like it. So
the food too. I mean,
they can't go wrong.
It's not
food.
just the whiskey though.
Eats and drinks.
That's right. It's the food too. I mean, you got Amico's here.
We do,
right? And that the first time I tried that was even before Company had broken ground.
Yep. Yeah.
And that was what, 3 or 2 years ago.
Yeah, you came when we were touring the old brick plant and kind of talking about what was to happen. But yeah, that was, of course, I met you first on the chat and then got a chance to meet you in person at that, which was awesome. But I assume that you guys, I don't know collectively if y'all have counted how many distillery tours y'all have taken.
Oh man,
in your life.
Wow. Plenty.
Actually, even help out on barrel picks now. I know Anthony, as far as being retired and kind of his job now.
Yeah, it is.
Got a good palate.
He has a great job. But
appreciate that.
But yeah, as far as different distilleries, several.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know? I don't have a number, but many single barrel selections. I think I'm close to 100 at this point. I help out a local shop in South Carolina called Liquor at the Lake, and obviously all of our Bourbon Thieves picks. So we try our best to get from distillery to distillery. If I were to guess, broad number, probably 40 to 50, tours.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I started in 21 doing tours the first time I ever went to Kentucky for anything really, and a group that I was friends with in St. Louis from the parent company that I was with before, we just made this weekend. It was just packed. I think we went to 15 distilleries over 3 days, and we made it a thing. So 21st or 21, 22, and then again this year, we just packed the weekend and go to a bunch. So probably the same, like 40 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So, of all the ones you've been to, I won't ask you to name them all, but is there one that kind of stands out to you that you feel like was probably the most special tour that you took, and kind of what made it special for you? As a person who's kind of creating my own experience here, give me some pointers on what I need to do.
Now, I mean, I don't want to toot your horn or anything, but being a Tennessee Squire as well, Jack Daniels was always a huge passion, and that was like the Graceland. That was getting to the mecca of whiskey. So doing that the first time was probably top on my list at this point. But aside from that, I mean, and again, not to blow smoke up your, but Whistle Pig was fantastic. I had a great time at the farm up in Vermont. I mean, just seeing what they're doing up there. Yeah. And then Maker's Mark. I think that's another killer distillery over there in Loretto. So
yeah. When I have told people that's what I envision for our Alcoa property. It kind of has a little bit of a roll to the land. There's a stream that runs through it. I could see some common architectural type buildings in a small campus, but I always felt like Maker's Mark had a very distinct feel. It was very well done. So I haven't I guess I've been on most of the Kentucky main distillery tours at this point, but it was one that stuck out to me as that would be a good model. Plus, we were doing the weeded bourbon thing too. So.
Oh yeah, that helps.
But what about you, Matt?
It'd be the same thing with Anthony started off with. Of course, Jack Daniels, not being biased, that's definitely my answer. The way the whole town runs around Jack Daniels, the history, being a squire, you starting there.
I was a squire,
But yes, there are so many out there. The ones that kind of stand out, Maker's Mark is probably one of my top 10. Beautiful facility, Castle and Key, Starlight. Some outside of Kentucky, because that's where I'm from, so not being biased towards that. Hard Truth, Indiana, that was a great one. I would like to try several others, but back into Kentucky, small ones, MB Rowland, Casey Jones. I just love how you can start off small like you all are here and then see where you go.
Yeah.
So I look forward to where the Alcoa branch, once you guys get that up and going, where that takes you all.
Sure. Mm-hmm. How about you, Logan?
For me, I'm going to do it by state. So in Tennessee, it was obviously Jack Daniels. The history is fantastic. We did a great tour, very long tour, actually. And it was wonderful to see that. And as everyone else said, how the whole town runs around around the distillery and how things are put together there. And then in Kentucky, Maker's Mark is a great historical, I mean, it's a beautiful campus. But the best experience I think I've had was at Bardstown Bourbon Company, and we did a thieving tour in the Rick House, and it was just fantastic. They did a great job just letting people try different things and asking them to try to pick things out. And I thought that was very unique and different than what you get from your traditional tour, because once you've learned, oh, this is how we make the mash, this is how we do the process, it gets repetitive, but they didn't do that. They like, let's go out in the Rick House and like thieve from the barrels. Yeah. So that was fantastic. And then one more I'll call out is in Virginia, and it's a newer distillery in Pennington Gap, Virginia, and it's called Axe Handle. And the reason that one sticks out to me is because my group did an event there, and we did a barrel, kind of a March Madness of barrels. So they're currently sourcing whiskey, so they had a bunch of barrels there, and they asked a group of like-minded people to come over and help them pick a single barrel. So we thieved from every barrel and just did this great, like, take it down to like this one versus that one. And it was just a fun time because we were like climbing on barrels and pulling stuff out and trying everything, and we finally got it down. It was awesome.
Well, talking about Jack Daniels and talking about single barrels is actually a really nice segue to the first glass that I've got for you guys, the one on your left.
On the left.
And all the time that I was with Jack Daniels, I was with them almost 20 years. I served as their master distiller for 12 of those. As I was leaving, as a departing gift from the brand team, they said, we'd like you to pick a barrel for yourself. So this was when what we call Jack Safe had just reached the 10-year mark. So these 10-year, 12-year releases you're seeing from Jack Daniels, this barrel was actually pulled from that group of barrels. So this is the only one in existence to date until Jack decides to do it again. But this is a 10-year-old cast strength single barrel. It came in at like 135.6.
Wow.
Ooh. The only barrel I ever picked for myself. So the only one that ever had a
cheers.
Cheers to the
sorry,
absolutely.
I already took a sip out of this.
Salute across.
Yeah.
But sure.
No, it's a beautiful, beautiful pour.
This is something special right here. You could definitely taste the oak.
Wow.
You could taste the age on this one.
What made me choose this one is if I compared it to, there were 3 samples. There was one that was probably, I think, if I just drank it neat, maybe was slightly edged it out. But this is the one when if I put any water in it at all, it opened up the best.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that as far as...
So I don't know if y'all want to try to do something like that. I didn't bring droppers or anything.
That's
but
right.
but this is one that I felt like, because I like to put rocks on it. And I felt like it really opened up nicely. But anyway, I kind of felt like, we've kind of made memories together in the past and stuff like that. This is sort of the ode to my past as well. I was so grateful for the opportunities that I got at Jack Daniels, and also to kind of create an opportunity for me going forward to create company and to kind of be able to steer my own ship for a while, which was the lure for me. But so grateful for that opportunity at Jack Daniels, and certainly wish all the people of Lynchburg well. So
great pour, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, we've talked about some of the better known brands and stuff like that, but if somebody just comes up to you and says, "Hey, what's your best kept secret?" I mean, what is the bourbon that you think is sort of below the radar right now, but you think is set to emerge? And that's not to say, please don't say company, but I mean, who else? that wasn't a seed question to mention us, but I mean, which one is you kind of say, hey, they're going good places?
I mean,
Who you say? I'll start with you, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was looking at you, but I'm going to pull a switcher.
I pointed at Logan over there, but
I'll take it. But it's so many
straight out of North Carolina,
now.
out of Statesville, North Carolina. I think one of the best kept secrets is Southern Distilling. They're putting out a lot of product. They're putting out some great wheaters. Paragon is their claim to fame over there. I mean, it's just fantastic. Everything, the craftsmanship, the distillery, the people behind it, the great marketing team, everything about it. They are actually sourcing to so many different people that a lot of folks don't even realize. NDAs, things like that. I can't really talk about it, but I mean, it's something special. And coming from Los Angeles and going to North Carolina, moving to North Carolina in 2018, you see a sense of pride in statehood. right? And there's so much pride when it comes to whiskey and bourbon in particular in North Carolina.
It's like everybody becomes Texas when it comes to
exactly. Yeah. You're representing that star right up on top there. Yeah, you're flying at the same height as the American flag there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I lived in Texas for 2 years, and I said one thing I learned about Texas is that they love Texas.
Yeah,
there.
That's right.
First and foremost.
That's
one that I've really liked recently is 15 Stars. They've been putting out some really good stuff, and their cherry cask was really top notch. I really like that one, and the Platinum and their First West Rye was on point. So I thought 15 Stars doing a great job with what they're doing, blending stuff.
I have not had theirs, so I'm going to look for that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. What about you, Matt?
My neck of the woods, I'm going to stick with them just because Kentucky has so much to offer.
Oh, yeah.
But a smaller distillery, and I brought some to share tonight for our bottle share, but Casey Jones.
Okay.
They could, everybody's got their own little unique story, kind of a marketing thing or to get, traction. But I've been really impressed with where Casey Jones is going. Kind of backtrack to why I'm a fan of Jack Daniel's is the consistency.
Yeah.
And they are another one that are very consistent with their flavors that you get. And as they age, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. So I'm actually from Jackson, Tennessee originally, and it was the home of Casey Jones.
There you go.
The railroad hero. My dad worked for the railroad. My granddad worked for the railroad. My 5th or 6th birthday, my mom put us in little engineer outfits with red bandanas, and we went and sang train songs and went through Casey Jones' house in Jackson, Tennessee.
What a great memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can I jump in real quick?
Absolutely.
And just say that this reminds me a lot of Coy Hill.
Yeah.
Of the special release, 2021?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Coy Hill. The proof, the complexity that's going on with this pour, this is really a treat, man. Thank you. Thank you. And even with the water added to it, it really brings up a lot of...
Yeah, to me, I thought it actually improved a little bit with just a slight dilution.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 135.6, so
this is amazing.
you can give a little water on it, and it's still not going to wilt on you at all. So, yeah, I really like this. I've given some bottles away to charity. They've raised some money, which I've tried to use it to pay it. The gift that was given to me, try to make it a gift to others and pay it forward. I was very grateful for it. But anyway, so as you guys have kind of spent some time around the industry and met a lot of different people, who are some of the cool people that y'all have met?
Well, sitting right next to one of them.
Well,
right here.
okay, that's cool. No, because I would tell you this. I enjoyed meeting Fred Noe and Jimmy Russell and some of these guys that you looked up to, and continue to look up to at this point in my life. But, of course, being with the Jack Daniel's brand, we get to meet a lot of people. We got backstage passes, and, people would look at me and say, man, you're like a rock star. And I'm like, no, but I've met a few rock stars because of Jack Daniel's, and it's been pretty cool. So who are some of the cool people that you've kind of run across that you say, hey, that was a great memory for yourself?
We've got one in common, and a lot of people know him, but Fred Minnick.
Oh, yeah, Fred's a good dude. Fred's a good dude. He really is. Yeah, I've enjoyed getting to know him better. And I came up to the Bourbon Music Festival thing there in Louisville, and it was when it got rained out, and I lost. That was the only time in my life, in my adult life, I've lost my billfold. It was terrible. It was like a cattle drive going out of there, people stomping in the mud, and my wife's shoes got stuck in the mud, and I reached down and pulled one out, and I had a towel, and I think I was trying to wipe her shoe off. And when I pulled that towel out, it pulled my billfold out too. I'm certain that's what happened to it. Somebody returned the billfold to me. No cash in it, but I got everything else back.
Okay.
My global traveler cards and stuff like that, which was like, thank you, please. I don't want to have to go back through that
Take
again.
the cash.
Please. I'm fine with the cash being gone. I got my cards back, got my driver's license back and stuff like that. So Fred's a good dude. But
as far as me, you're the first master distiller I ever met. So like I said, I'm pretty new to this.
Yep.
Other than that, it's just been great meeting people like Anthony and Matt and other people in the Bourbon Thieves community that have been fantastic to me personally. We've made great friends. And it's just fun to meet new people. So,
well, I think what you'll find too is that even the time when I was at Jack Daniel's, there were other people there that it was so cool to meet them. And I was fortunate that one of them wanted to come with me on this journey, and it was Kevin Smith. He was sort of the guy behind the scenes who took care of the yeast culture. He's one of the smartest, brightest guys in the industry that nobody had ever heard of, and I've tried to give him much more a position here. He's our head beer maker with Company, but if you get a chance to talk to him this weekend, I think he'll
Oh yeah,
he'll impress you.
Definitely spent some
Kevin's
time
a
with
man.
Kevin last week or last year.
I was going to say, he will
fantastic,
absolutely impress you with his level of knowledge,
Yes,
and it's one of the
he's awesome.
strengths. One of the reasons why I feel optimistic about our future going forward is that he and I'd worked together so well for 20 years, and it takes more than one person. And I think sometimes it's hard to have the complete skill set you need to make something go. It takes quite a few people with a lot of skill, and we've got a pretty deep bench with Company, and I'm grateful to have that. So, but. Who was your coolest meet?
Yeah, man, your horn is tooting right now because it's definitely you as well. I know. I mean, you're such a you're
humble
iconic.
and down to earth. For sure.
You're humble too, but you're an icon to a lot of whiskey fanatics, especially Jack Daniel's lovers.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is what I grew up with. So, ever since. Pretty much I was born because I like to tell the story that my mother used to rub Jack Daniels on my gums when I was teething, so I had the taste early of whiskey.
That was baby Oragel, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and it was definitely accepted back then. But no, definitely you, the entire team that you put in place over at Jack. I definitely appreciated that, and I wouldn't be here without that. Like without me actually having the respect that I do for everything that you do, everything that your team does. I would not be here supporting you, at Company, hanging out with everybody that we're here with. I mean, these guys are a great group of guys. The Bourbon Thieves are a great group, but this is really where it started. What was my fascination and my loyalty to a brand, which was Jack Daniel's.
Yeah.
And that's where you came from. So again, I'm not trying to toot the horn, but this is really, I'm still starstruck every time we hang out. Okay. And believe it or not, I mean,
the rock star.
No,
as we call
seriously,
him.
he is the rock star.
Yeah.
And we do chat. We chat a lot. We send messages back and forth and stuff like that. We laugh, but it's still like, wow, like this,
surreal.
This
My wife got over that a long time ago. So that didn't get me much at home. But no, I worked for Procter & Gamble when my wife and I met. So she's been on this whole journey from quality control to master distiller to Company. So it's been a great ride. But who would you say I appreciate the kudos there, but who would you like to meet next? Who's that person that would just be, if I could only meet one more person in the industry, that would be the one?
The Russells. I mean, Wild Turkey is another passion of mine. I've really started to love the turkey lineup, so I'd love to meet the Russells.
Jimmy's incredible, and especially for his age and stuff. I mean, just the stamina and stuff that he has. I was always impressed because I would be worn out at the end of Whiskey Fest and stuff like that. You're just kind of done, and he's still there going at it and talking and looks fresh. You're just like, wow, that's impressive. I need to suck it up. I don't want to be part of the weak generation. So I'm going to suck it up and do what Jimmy does.
Really, like breaking it down, I want to meet everybody. I really do. I have so much respect for everything that goes into distilling, that goes into whiskey in general. And I've had the pleasure to meet a lot of these folks. I've had the pleasure to pick barrels with Bruce Russell. I actually picked a barrel with Steve Nally. I mean, we're talking about Hall of Famers here. And this is insane that you're actually rubbing shoulders and you're thieving with these folks. And at the end of the day, they're just regular people who enjoy the passion, that want to, get together, have a drink together, and just shoot it, and have some fun. Yep. So,
I would tell you, even though, of course, my life kind of got to this point where it's like as much as I'd love Jack Daniels and had a great ride there, I wanted to kind of run my own thing. There was never a point that I thought about leaving the industry. I mean, it's just like, once you get there, it's like, man, you're ruined. You're ruined for anything else. It's so much fun. My worst days in this industry are still pretty good days. Yeah. And there's not a whole lot of places that you can say that about, but
that's awesome.
So who would be your
as far
celebrity
as,
meet?
Yeah, as far as like people in the industry that have been around for a while that I have not got a chance to meet, Jim Rutledge. I would like to meet him. I've met Marianne Eves, but I've not really got an in-depth conversation with her. Just because
we were hoping Marianne was going to make it here for today. We did a brew.
Really?
We did a brew day on the Deutsche Brewskid, and she came for one of our previous ones, and I thought she must have had something come up. But I was hoping that we would see her today.
I think it'd be great to kind of pick her brain a little bit.
And I spent quite a bit of time working with her when we first started making malt. Yeah, she was still in R&D with Brown Foreman, and when I was the master distiller at Jack Daniels. But I was always impressed that Marianne was very smart and had a lot of capabilities, which she's shown that she has.
Yeah, so, well, like with the women, as far as getting into that part of it, not really a distiller, but a blender as well, but Ebony Major. Okay. So trying some of the things that people have put out and that I've really enjoyed, I'd really like to pick her brain as well.
Yeah, so the Kenny from Bourbon Pursuit, he posted a question. It was like, who's more important, the master distiller or the master blender?
That's a good question.
That's a good question, yeah.
I basically told him, I'm like, I don't really separate the two because, I mean, both of those things require kind of a good nose and palate. You kind of have to know what you're targeting for. I was the distiller at Jack Daniel's. They gave me an award in 2017 that was also Master Blender. But it wasn't until I came to Company that I truly had an opportunity to do that, to try to take differing bourbons and try to blend them to a different point that I thought was more complementary. That was always like, say, make a fourth item from the three that you think is better than the individuals. I did a little bit of that in coffee, or learned how to do that in the sensory sciences of coffee, but never had really done it much. Every grain bill kind of stood by itself at Jack Daniel's.
There's a huge science behind that, though.
It is. But knowing how to move the palate around and stuff like that, it was very helpful. Things I learned in coffee probably were the things that most served me when I first came to Jack Daniel's, and where I was trying to identify the standards of Gentleman Jack versus a single barrel versus a black label versus what rye would be when we first started making it, and what we would change about the product as you started adding in maple barrels or groove barrels and trying to do Sinatra and Gold or the flavored products were probably the most successful thing that I was a part of at Jack Daniel's, and they weren't the things I was necessarily most proud of. I would rather have worked with grains and yeast and barrels, but it was hard to argue the success of those. But trying to find something that you felt like, hey, if somebody wants a product like that, I think this is the best one in the market, and what it takes to be able to evaluate that it's got the right level of mouthfeel and sweetness and not being too sweet. Has to be too sweet to some to be, not sweet enough for others. Right. So you kind of bridging that gap between what people want, but
sure.
But for sure.
I mean, this is a great bridge right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and talk about that. We talked about the past a little bit, but and this is a salute to maybe some past memories that we've made here and the future that we'll have, making memories over the course of the rest of this weekend and hopefully into years ahead. But this is the cask strength from Company. This was a double platinum winner for this year. I always felt pretty
Congratulations.
Felt pretty good about that.
Yeah. Yes.
So not quite the age, not quite 10 years old, not quite 135, but it does come in. It does come in at a healthy 117. It's about 5 to 6 years old on a composite basis. So we're maturing. We're maturing in nicely.
I just popped this one.
This will be
the one I bought last year. Yep. I just finally opened it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so the first was 121. This came in at 117, but it composites about 65% corn, 30% wheat, 5% malted barley. So pretty healthy wheat content.
The wheat is on. Oh, that's great.
Wow.
I think it sips way below 117.
For sure.
Well, even as a cask strength, it goes with what you kind of originally started saying that you were looking for when you started this brand. It's that approachable complexity.
Yep.
It's something for everybody. It's in the middle. It's that fence that a lot of people look for. If somebody is advanced and broke through that ethanol wall and is a huge whiskey fan, they can drink this and enjoy it. If it's somebody that's new and has not drank a whole lot of whiskey, but they want to enjoy something that's got some character and depth to it.
Yep.
This is something they can drink.
Yeah, put this in front of them. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was sort of that weird conversation we were having because we were trying to discuss a liquid we had never tasted and we have never developed, but we were just forming as a company. And I told them, I said, if we are successful, people will taste the product and they will say that it's approachable and they will say it's complex, that it's going to be both of those things because we can't lead off with like 10 different products. We're going to have one. So what you hope is that you're not going to overwhelm a new drinker, but you're going to satisfy a mature one. That
your price point as well is spot on because we all know right now with where we're at in the economy that our whiskey, being fans, is going up. But to buy something that you can enjoy and savor the flavor and not break the bank, spot on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this definitely has a different note to it than the one that I picked up last year, and it's fantastic. It's actually more complex.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, and
more approachable.
Part of that is we've aged in a little more.
Gotcha.
On this, so these are when I started, these were more like in the 4.5 range. Now they're more in the 5 to 6 range. So we're getting an additional year on them.
Yeah.
Every time I do a batch too, we have 2 column distillates and 1 pot distillate, and I like to kind of work those together. So I've actually started doing a custom blend program where the same process I've gone through for Company. to try to figure out what our identity is and what I want us to be. I'm letting stores, choose a different point if they want to be. And I'm not going so far out that when you would taste it, it would be something that you would say tasted like Company, but it would be a variant of it. But going higher in wheat and stronger on the maple finish, or then kind of dialing that down a little bit, dialing the sweetness up, adding a little more fullness of mouthfeel using a pot. Kind of working a little bit of the Woodford model. Of course, that's kind of how that product is. It's a combination of column and pot distillate, so it lands between Scotch whiskey and a typical American whiskey in mouthfeel. It's a little fuller than a lot of other brands, and that's what I wanted from Company too. Is a full mouthfeel that kind of is satisfying, but the flavors don't overwhelm. They're balanced and enjoyable.
Absolutely.
So,
and we talked a little bit about this on Whiskey, Tobacco, and Friends last night. Joe and I did. We actually highlighted the cash strength that we picked up last year. So kind of an homage to the weekend here. So no, definitely appreciate this pour, man. Thank you.
Well, and I know since Anthony, I know he does that, and I've seen his live streams of the Whiskey Tobacco Friends WTF that he does.
Right.
I'd reached out, of course, a good friend of mine. One of the cool people I've met over the years was Guy Fieri. He's got the Santo Tequila brand, but he's also got Knuckle Sandwich cigars. He was kind enough to send us some cigars. So if you guys like them, we've got a couple of his on the table.
That's
so
awesome.
They are here for the taking.
Thanks,
got
Guy.
a cutter.
Yeah.
Got some torches and stuff like
Let's
that,
do
so
that.
you guys can light them up.
Yeah, we're going to fire these up right now.
But
I'm
also,
definitely gonna
Thank you.
try 'em.
Thank
but
you.
also
Not
while
being
y'all are
here,
unwrapping those and cutting, I just wanted to say thank you guys. And the bottles on the table that are etched Grains and Grits, those are actually an exclusive that don't go on sale until tomorrow. But you guys, I want you to be the first three to get them, just
Thanks,
as a
Jeff.
thank you
Awesome.
Thank
for
you
being
so
a
much,
part
Appreciate
man.
you, Jeff.
That's
Really.
of
Thank you.
today's podcast as well.
So me not being a avid cigar smoker, you guys take it easy with me, but the black, I guess, is
teach you.
We'll take it easy with you.
Actually,
We'll take it easy with you.
Go with the black one first.
the
If
black.
you're
All
not
right.
really a heavy duty cigar smoker, because it looks like the red label
That would-
is the Maduro.
Yes.
So you're probably going to want to smoke the Connecticut
The
first.
lighter,
right,
lighter
so-
version.
So how much are we?
Okay, so with the
Just snip your in there. I guess.
just a little bit off the
just
top there.
Right
yeah,
there?
just open up the wrapper there. There you go.
There you go. You got to
All right.
commit, fully commit,
There you go.
full send.
We're learning. It's a learning process.
But yeah, I probably have told this story on another podcast before. But the one thing my daughter came from a health fair where they showed
take that off.
the effects of tobacco use, the worst extremes of it. And she came home, she had fainted at school and said, please don't smoke any cigars anymore, Dad. So I don't do them anymore. But Guy, thank you. Thank you for those for sure. But I'm going to honor my promise to my daughter today.
There you go, Guy. Thank you very much, man. This is a true
No, it's
treat.
very
And Jeff,
awesome.
thank you,
So-
thank you for this.
So I think we are,
Fantastic.
this is about time. So we've started a nice
Time
evening
flies
off
when you're
here.
having fun.
So
Absolutely.
so one last question I'm going to ask you guys.
Yeah.
What are y'all most excited to share tonight? I know Matt has brought something he thinks is kind of cool and special that he's going to be putting on the table.
Yes.
I think one of the things we all look forward to is not just the festival that happens, but it's some of the other stuff that goes on around the festival, the pre-parties and stuff like that. But I know tonight at Little Arrow, there'll be a table that people kind of bring out some Dusties and some hard to find bottles and things that are a little bit harder to find that they're willing to offer to the group. So
I'd almost brought the, I know that I've showed you and you commented on it. We talked about it, the 74, the 76 green label JD that I had.
yeah.
But I did decide that, you know what, that's actually really hard to hold on to or find. So
That bottle
like
might
these guys,
bring that
but-
one out all by itself,
Yeah.
where everybody's got a clean palate.
exactly.
So
I brought one of the first ever distillery only picks or pickups that I had were from Old Pepper, which is their finest Kentucky oak.
yeah,
I brought that one and a
Nice.
Blood Oath Pack 8.
very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm huge with the blenders because obviously that's my background too. With what I did with the oil and petrochemical division, but I have a deep appreciation for Rye 3. We've done some picks with them before. The Bourbon Thieves have, and I brought a 14-year light whiskey
Yep.
that is just phenomenal, and we're gonna have some fun with that one tonight. I also brought a hazmat rum from
Oh.
Two Soul Spirits that It's
Nice.
called the Rum King, and this is dangerous stuff because it's over 140 proof,
Yep.
and it seriously drinks like a 110 proof.
Okay.
So throw a little rum into the equation tonight.
Yep.
You know,
I call those ninjas.
Ninjas, yeah.
The ones that drink way below proof,
That's
because
right.
you get this comfort level that you can kind of sip them as if, hey, it sips like it's 70. Well, it's like, hey, it's 110. Look out.
right? Exactly.
Because
Don't stand up
it's still
anytime
110.
soon. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for being a part of
It's a
this.
pleasure.
I'm looking forward to a great weekend. For all those who are listening to the podcast, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm excited to be getting prepared for our December Christmas podcast show. Hopefully, my partner in crime, Chris Tatum, will be back with us then. So missing you. He's off at a basketball tournament with his boys this weekend, so I'm giving him this one off. But
Chris, I miss you
Yep.
too, man.
Thanks,
anyway,
Chris.
but please join in next month, and hopefully we'll have some entertaining topics to discuss at that point. But thanks everybody.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
Fantastic.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.